First, I am a product manager at Microsoft. Have been with Microsoft about 13 years now. I just completed my 13 years last week. Joined out of college. I have done like a bunch of roles. I did like a rotational software engineering role for the first couple of years, and then kind of made my full-time switch into product management because I always had the question, because this is when I was back in India, who's deciding how this product needs to be built? Who is saying these needs to be features, and how does that one person know what the global needs of a product are? So that's what piqued my interest in becoming a product manager. So I have worked on a bunch of internal tools at Microsoft, and Microsoft, of course, being a global company, we have about, I think, about 300, 400,000 employees and contingent staff. So, of course, when we think of internal experiences, we have to also think of inclusivity at a global scale. And then I've also, in the last 6 or 7 years, worked on external facing products like Dynamics and Viva. So this is where I think I can talk about product market fit, because in my experience, I would say I have worked on about two and a half 0 to 1 products. I say two and a half because two of them actually went live, and we did like a bunch of research for one of them. Did not seem feasible. So what I would talk about finding a global product market fit is I'll probably break this down in like three phases. One is when you're ideating and kind of in your definition phase, and that's where inclusive research is like super important. When we are trying to understand the problem statement, do not focus on just North America or Europe, for example, because it's very easy to find people in your time zone. We work with a research team, and when we're kind of doing a research screeners, we ensure that we kind of ask questions which will help us get as many different types of people to talk to, different roles, different geographies, different abilities, different languages, different processes. So when you're kind of doing your research, make sure a research screener has those right level of filters, I should say, to identify different sets of people you can talk to. Um, the next phase I will talk to about is like when you're kind of doing your early stage preview or early release cycles for a product. Of course, we try and do like a lot of internal previews, test with a global scale internally within Microsoft, but also we have lighthouse programs, what we call it, just like an informal, unofficial name that we use within our team. It's basically work with a bunch of customers who are your close fans, advocates, and really direct feedback givers. And when we kind of look for these lighthouse customers, we try to make sure we are going across the globe. We are talking to customers in different segments. We're talking to customers in different geos, understand their processes, and really go from there. One other thing I would probably share an example is we have multiple employee resource groups at Microsoft. We have like French speakers at Microsoft. We have Arabic speakers at Microsoft. So this is something I did for one of my products 3 or 4 years ago. We were facing a lot of localization issues. And of course, we have an internal localization team, but they translate the words, not necessarily the context. So what we did was we kind of meet with our employee resource groups. I had this French customer who was reporting a lot of issues, and of course, I don't speak French, and I needed someone's help to really tell us, like, hey, where is your feedback not going right? And of course, I cannot rely on the customer for all of that. So I met with some people from the French employee resource group. I kind of walked them through the happy parts of the core flows in the app. They told me, here's where your translation is correct, but your context is kind of putting out like a wrong word. So how you do localization, how you verify your localization is super important. And lastly, I think every product manager will tell you, when your product's ultimately live, when you look at your telemetry, don't just look at your top level numbers. Make sure you're looking at your numbers sliced by different geos to really see what areas are working well, what countries are using, not using, how are different countries using your app. So I would say in these different ways is how we really get our global scale for any new product that you're trying to find the product market fit for. And I would say at the end, it's very easy to kind of overlook globalization, localization when you're kind of trying to build a new app, but that's how you truly become a globally successful product versus just something that works for North America or Europe, for example. So happy to share, answer any questions later down the line.